social media and the internet play a very fundamental part in our daily lives. Currently, more people access the internet for information than any other time in history. Social media connects us to our friends and family, and the internet helps us at work and school. Social media gives a glimpse of our personal lives to the public. However, oversharing personal information is dangerous and could lead for the information to be stolen. Um, I am going to talk about why you should limit the amount of personal information you share on social media and the internet, how it could lead to privacy issues, harassment, and I am going to talk about the Internet Bill, which could have negative repercussions to the privacy of all the people who use the internet in the United States. Now, from my first point, oversharing on social media can lead to all sorts of people know what's going on in your daily life, especially if your social media isn't private. And especially if you keep updating your location or sharing pictures. And that's fine. Social media was made for us to be social with friends and family. And you would believe that just setting your accounts to private would stop from your information from getting leaked, but it's not 100% safe either. In 2018, Facebook was victim of a data breach that affected around 50 million users. The kind of information that was leaked was private information, home addresses, and it potentially gave the attackers full access to your account. That means private messages or private posts. So social media isn't 100% safe. Now, some quick tips for you to protect your information would be to be careful when connecting to public Wi-Fi. Don't access important accounts like your bank accounts using public Wi-Fi. You should have different passwords for different accounts. Strong passwords too. There should be different passwords because using the same password for all your accounts sort of gives the master key to the attackers, giving them access to all your accounts. The second point that I am going to talk about is harassment, online harassment. Now, cyberbullying and cyberstalking are the major forms of online harassment. Cyberbullying is more prevalent in teens, where just a group of teens just start harassing another teen. Not being careful to what you post online can give people you don't want a glimpse into your life. Cyberstalking gets easier the more information you update. The more information gets, the more you update your location and information. Important term I'm going to talk about is doxing, which is basically another person sharing your personal information to the public. An example of this is Brianna Wu, which is the head developer of the game of Giant Space Cat, which is a game developer company. She was an advocate of female harassment in the gaming industry, which is mostly male dominated. And the gaming community didn't take it well. She received eventually her personal information was leaked, like her home address, and she started receiving death threats to her and to her family, which eventually caused her to leave her home. So the internet is dangerous. Now, for my third and last point, I am going to talk about the Internet Bill, which it stands for Eliminating Abusive and Rampant Neglect on Interactive Technologies. So on paper, what this would do is it would prevent the spread of child sex abuse material on the internet. There would be a federal commission set up, controlled by the Attorney General and law enforcement, to to set a list of best practices that tech companies have to follow. Now, if the tech companies do not follow the list of best practices, they get stripped of the protection they have from Section 230 of the Communication Decency Act, which basically says that no provider or user of an interactive computer shall be treated as the publisher or speaker of any information provided by another information content provider. So this basically grants the federal government a backdoor entrance to look at our personal social media accounts, and especially our personal messages, in the pretense of making sure there's no child abuse content, and sure, preventing child abuse content from going on the internet, it's good, but it invades the privacy of social media users, because now the federal government can see private conversations, and this bill will eventually grant less privacy than there is already on social media. Social media is very important to most people in the world today, in school and work, but oversharing information can have its repercussions, and you should limit what you post online. And even if it's not your intention to post your personal information, say on social media, since there's like a lot of online bank accounts and so many other personal bank accounts that have our information that can be subject to data breaches, like in Facebook, and there's no 100% real privacy on the internet. There's always risks, and do not overshare with confidence on the internet.